Whom have I in heaven but thee? And there is none upon the earth that I desire besides thee. Hi friends, that's all I know of the song, but they're good words from Psalm 73. Do you ever get to the point where you feel sort of spiritually starved? That's how I felt yesterday. It was set up to be a good day too, except that I skipped my usual quiet time in the morning praying and journaling. But I went for a run, had a good day at work, came home, and just felt restless and wanting. Even after a nap and cleaning and probably a little too much time on Pinterest, I was almost metaphysically hangry. It wasn't until about 5 that I sat down and read my psalm for the day, which happened to be Psalm 73 and happened to be just what I needed. Here's verses 21 to 26. When my heart was grieved and my spirit embittered, I was senseless and ignorant. I was a brute beast before you. Yet I am always with you. You hold me by my right hand. You guide me with your counsel, and afterward you will take me into your glory. Whom have I in heaven but you? And earth has nothing I desire besides you. My flesh and my heart may fail, but God is the strength of my heart and my portion forever. It's when I don't take time to be with Jesus, to bring my cares to him, to recognize his nearness and thank him for his goodness. That's usually when everything starts to look bleak. Not to put a burden on us of any prescribed amount of time you're supposed to spend reading scripture or praying. It's not a thing we have to check off our list. But I've just noticed this as a pattern in my own life, that when I neglect that, that's when I start to despair, like this psalmist in earlier verses, over how injustice and cruelty and lies seem to be winning in the world. Or I start to compare myself. Or in more existential moods, I start wrestling with questions like, what am I even doing with my life and why? It usually takes some soaking in scripture to realize my soul is thirsty, and I've been looking in the wrong place for a drink. There are only so many directions you can look when your heart is thirsty for a sense of security or purpose or hope. You could look deep down inside yourself, and I think that's what a lot of movies you grew up with tell us, right? But I think looking for a cohesive answer to that need in your own heart is kind of like bringing a cup to your lips to take a drink before you've actually filled it with anything. You can look out into the world and see what it has to offer, and it might give you lots of options, but that's kind of like filling your cup with seawater. It might take the edge off, but ultimately it'll just leave you more dehydrated. But even if I'm foolishly looking in the wrong direction, God still holds me in his hand. He still calls to you, look up, child. I have what you need in the source of all life. Lift your eyes up to the hills. Where does my help come from? My help comes from him who is faithful, even when I foolishly wander off. Even when I am disturbed by the pressing of my wants and senselessly feeling and ignorantly looking for distraction, he still holds me. It might take a few disappointments, and I'm sure some of us have swallowed our share of seawater, but I think God is wonderfully patient in bringing us to the point of being able to say, like the end of this psalm, but as for me, the nearness of God is my good. Before food and water, before the very air I breathe, God's nearness is what I need to sustain me. My flesh and my heart may fail, but God is the strength of my heart and my portion forever. Jesus said, don't be afraid that your needs won't be met. Seek God's nearness first, and he'll provide for all these other things too. He made us after all. I think he knows what it is our souls need. Go in peace, walk in love.